Here, I'll film. We jacked up the front, put the ramps under there. The problem is we dug a hole back there and it's making the ramps too steep. Just let off the handbrake, take it out of gear. Should go, dude. Should be good to go. Just let it rip. Just don't smash into the car behind you. Let it go. You're off? It's not rolling? Oh, well, just start it up then. It's gonna go all the way left and up like this. Up and then over and up. It's stuck on something still. Okay, hold on. We're so close, we're so close. Yeah, come forward a little bit. Should be able to go forward. Yeah, keep going. Alright, hold on. We'll try your idea. Go ahead. I don't think that's gonna do anything. I'll try to push. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Alright. Okay, okay. Pause. Reverse. Oh god. Stuck again. Dude, this is horrible. How the hell did I get it? It literally drove right on before. Alright, it's okay. Got another fix. Catch my breath. Sweeping that floor really wore me out. I'm so out of shape. I had got a new iPhone the other day, and I had to park like 3/4 of a mile away. And I was in the store, my meter was gonna run out, so I was like, we're not done here yet, how long is this gonna be? I said it was gonna be another 20 minutes or so, so I was like, I gotta go run and put money in my meter. But I had places to be after that, so I was like, I better do this quick. So I ran the whole way, like, probably a pretty, in between like jog and run, you know, like pretty hefty, big strides. I got to my truck, I thought I was gonna die. And then I was like, I put money in, and I'm like, I'll put an hour in. So I put an hour in, I run all the way back. About halfway back, I start going to just a fast walk because I don't wanna like show up into the Apple store like dying. So I was like, all right, cool. So I roll up, I'm like, all right, that wasn't so bad. So I'm there on my phone, I go to back it up on the iCloud while I'm there because I want to make sure it works. It's not available, my backup, so I almost lost everything I had. So they had to go through and manually like retrieve it and do a bunch of stuff, but it ended up being more than an hour. So I had to run back again and put money in again and run back again. So I'm like, damn dude, like I've ran like a shitload today. And I was like, I'm dead, I'm so out of shape. So anyway, that's my story about being out of shape. What's up, everybody? Today we are prepping the car to go back to the track and have some fun. And one thing that dawned on me was like, hey, we should put a video out that kind of describes and shows what we do between events. Hopefully it's very minimal and you're not fixing something that was catastrophic. But the big thing between driving events is taking your car, putting it on the lift, and making sure nothing's going to fail at the next event. If you continuously do that every day, you go drive the car for fun, not, like obviously not street driving, but drifting, you'll be able to see things and fix them before they actually break. And that's the goal, being able to take a look at the car, say, oh, hey, look at that. That looks like it could be a problem. Is it going to be a problem right away? And then you need to make the decision, should I fix it right now, or should I see how it looks after the next day of driving? Wearable items like clutches and diffs and steering stuff and, you know, things of that nature usually are not things that break all the time. So you'll see like, oh hey, my diff's leaking fluid, I gotta drive tomorrow, so like I'm gonna fill it with fluid and then see how much of it leaked out, and then after that, hopefully, then I'll fix it and replace it. Or maybe you don't have the parts to fix it right away or whatever, but you never want to get into a point where you're like, oh man, like I got to the track, my car broke in the first few laps and now I can't drive. So, so usually what I do is I have a lift, which is sweet, but if you don't, put it on all four, get it up in the air. The first thing I'll do is wiggle all the wheels, make sure there's no play in them, you know, checking wheel bearings. For the rear, you'll want to notice how much play you have in your diff. So you'll see I have a little bit here. I'll kind of keep and pay attention to that and make sure it doesn't get to be more. You know, you'll do that at each corner. The front, you want to tighten everything down, check everything out. And that's just like basically looking at the car, shaking some things around by hand with no tools to at least see that you don't have anything totally broken, right? Another thing I'll do is I'll grab 2 adjustable wrenches like these, and I'll just go over and kind of check every bolt that's like easily accessible. So like I'll start at the back and just check like shock bolt, snug. Like obviously we're not torquing everything again, we're just checking to make sure everything's tight, you know. I'll go up here and I'll check subframe bolt. You know, like obviously this is not going to get its torque, but you will see if any of it's loose, you know. And you just run it over these and take a look at everything that's going on really quickly. So like all this stuff is tight here. The control arm bolts, you can get up there and check as well. And it's also like making it so you look visually at everything, you know. Obviously these won't be able to get in every spot, so you can go back and check things, but it's just a nice way to at least check over everything on the car and make sure it's all tight. Once you do this a bunch with your car, you might not have to use adjustables. You can just use the sockets and wrenches that you know are being used. But really just the big thing here is taking a look at everything and double checking that everything is good. Another thing you want to think of is like while you're at the track, if you hear anything or you're feeling that there's a problem with anything, just like pull your phone out and put a note down. I've noticed that the rear of this car has been getting a little bit more clunky than normal, so I'm definitely, after I just do this quick nut and bolt, going to go back and check the actual diff mounts and everything else and make sure everything's good. Tomorrow I'll be driving with a couple guys that are faster cars, like pretty quick cars, so I'm going to pull this rear sway bar link off so I can get a little bit more side bite. Try that out, see how it does, and then yeah, kind of just go from there. Just nut and bolting everything on the car. I just serviced some of the transmission bolts, so I know those are tight. The steering angle stuff, same thing. Just put a torque on everything. Make sure everything's snug. You can also, like on our competition cars, I don't really do it very much of this, but I should. You can also basically go through and mark all of these. So like once you tighten them, you put a mark on them, and then you'll know if they move by seeing the line on the mark. They sell special pens for those. Just yellow, pink, whatever color you want. You can color code your marks so that you know what size they are as well. My FD car has like if it's yellow, it means it's a 17. If it's pink, it means it's a 14. If it's green, it's a 10. So you know what wrench to grab like as you're doing it as well. But that's mainly just for like making sure everything gets done very quickly. And if you have a new person working on your car, you're not like worried about them not. Alright. Let's see, that one was a little bit loose there, so it was nice to know that that was a thing. You just hand check all your coilover stuff, make sure that stuff hasn't backed itself off at all. Pretty snug there, front end's tight. Quick nut and bolt check, you know, that's tested out pretty good. I'm gonna check that rear diff here a little bit more. So next thing I'll do is I'll make sure all my tires and wheels are balanced or mounted at least. So I have them set up right there. Those I have 6 for tomorrow, and I have 2 more in the back I'm gonna bring, so I'll have 8 total rears. It's supposed to be pretty dry tomorrow, so we might actually go through some tires. Last time we kind of limited on our fun because I didn't bring enough tires. Oh well. So these are pretty much done. These will come off. I don't ever say, like, don't ever take your car to the track on bald tires. It's like, just get rid of them beforehand. It's less work to do there and more time you get driving. The other thing I'll check too is obviously all the fluids. You want to make sure all your fluids are up to date. You can see how fast you're burning oil or losing fluid from somewhere. Kind of keep track of that. Hey, at the track, like I lost 2 quarts of oil last time I was there. Like 2 quarts is pretty significant. So that means halfway through the day, you should probably be putting a quart of oil or 2 in your car. So just those little things that take almost no time. Like a serious nut and bolt takes like 10 or 15 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like, and it'll at least give you an eye on everything underneath the car. So that way you can see if there's any failures or see if anything's, you know, having any issues. So obviously I've said that 500 times, but I can't say enough that that's obviously a pretty big deal. Another thing too is like keeping your tow vehicle up to date. Same thing, your truck should never break down. It should never be the reason why you didn't make an event. So keeping that simple and up to date as well. It's big. Trailer bearings, all that stuff. Like keeping like, oh, I have some time today. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just watching Chelsea's YouTube videos. Well, put it on pause, go out and just check your stuff while you have some extra time. So that way when you don't have any time, it doesn't fail at that point. What else? I don't know, check your front tires, make sure they're not too bald. I always say to do that right, all this stuff pretty much right when it comes off the trailer or when you get home from the event. Some of you guys will still be driving your cars every day, so you'll want to definitely get home, put it on 4 jack stands, check everything, make sure everything's tight, check your tires, make sure there's no crazy leaks or anything that broke before you start driving the car, get on the street. Same thing with this, like I check this over usually right before I get home, or right after I get home, and then I order any parts I need so I can fix them before the next time I go out. That way the car is always fixed and waiting for me to go to the track instead of me fixing it and waiting on fixing it to get to the track. So, but this car's pretty simple. I keep it super easy and simple. Really, it's the key because then you don't just break everything all the time and have stupid failures. The only real change I'll do to this car between now and the last time I drove it was the heater valve failed on it, which like is kind of silly. And since this is mostly a track car, I just looped it. So now I just have heat going through the heater core all the time, which is better anyway. It'll run cooler that way. But this was basically causing a blockage in the back of the head and causing it not to have full cooling capacity. So it'll be nice to have working heat again and have the car probably run a little bit cooler. The other thing is, like, if you drive your car on the street and you need coolant, or you live in a cold area and you need coolant instead of just water, most tracks don't like that, so you should drain out all of your water or coolant and put water in it before you go to the track, and then put coolant back in it when you get home.
Only the best.
Well, I have a bunch of half-drinking water bottles around the shop, so I always just like let them sit, and when it's time to put water in the car, I just pour baller-ass water in my car. No one's gonna drink it, it's gonna go to waste. Alright, so one trick for drift cars is you always want to fill a quart over. It might sound silly, but if you're at the track drifting it, you want an extra quart because the oil sloshes around in the pan. So I just checked my oil, and you can see the dot here for the full mark. That's the low mark, and then you see it's about a quart over. It just keeps it from being starved of oil. A lot of cars don't have problems with this, but they also won't really be hurt by filling them over like by 3/4 of a quart or a quart. So I would always run a car a quart over at the track drifting. Street car, obviously not, but for drifting, for sure. Quick little stuff, nothing too major, but the 30 minutes of work you put in checking to make sure everything's good right when you get the car off the trailer or the next day. really will save you a lot of time and headaches in the long run. So keep an eye up on your maintenance and make sure everything's good. I'm gonna get this thing ready for tomorrow. Later, dudes.